Boy, oh, are we late? And we had some phenomenal technical difficulties here, but you are listening to the Universal Consciousness Show. You know, the home of the strange and the unusual. So hopefully we'll have no more problems here this time around, so we'll be able to speak to you after all. Gosh, I was wondering there for a while if it was gonna work. Anyway, we will try to educate a little bit and open up your mind and find something really good to talk about. First of all, we couldn't I couldn't find my guest, so Nori Love promised to step in on a really short notice here, and gosh, you are a godsend, Nori. This was wonderful that you could do this. Otherwise, I would have to talk for an hour with myself. That wouldn't be any. Me and
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
yeah, just Diana and me. That wouldn't be quite the same without you here. So yeah,
Aw.
I of course, my name is Aage, and my co-host Diana is over in Germany, and you're still there, aren't you?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Hello, everyone.
All right. And we have Nori Love with us here today. And just because I said that the Universal Consciousness Show is the home of the strange and the unusual, does not mean that Nori is strange, but she is unusual. With
Yeah, I'll
such
take that.
yeah. See, the thing is that Nori, she's an entrepreneur. She's a registered nurse. She's a Reiki Master and a double certified law of attraction life coach. She's also a medical intuitive and a radio host. In fact, Nori and I and Tom, we are doing a podcast together and a radio show, and it's called Broadcast Team Alpha. And
Yay!
yeah, we're having a lot of fun with that. And I don't know, Nori. This is kind of an unusual entry into the show here, but that let's maybe just mention a couple of things about that broadcast team Alpha. I think it's more than just a podcast because you are teaching of many of the things that you have learned over the years, Nori.
Well, I think we're all exploring new territory, and we're exploring the quantum possibilities, and we're sharing what we know, and we're sharing what we're learning as we go along. So since we began, we've been having a theme every month. We had the Reaching for Utopia theme. We spoke about that.
Yeah.
Envisioning the world in utopia instead of dystopia, envisioning the world how we want it to be. And then we did a month on the mastermind, how the mastermind principles and theories work. And this month, we're working with universal laws. We're talking about what the universal laws are, how they work, and we're specifically going into the law of attraction and the law of vibration. The law of attraction has been around forever. It became popular like 12 years ago with the movie The Secret, and then the movie What the Bleep Do We Know? And more and more people are really, I'm hearing the words law of attraction on TV shows now. So finally, it's out of the closets and people are talking about it, and people want to know how they can enhance their well-being, how they can enhance their life, how they can change their life, how they can change things in their life or their health or their relationships or, their finances. And the law of attraction is perfect. It's always working whether we know it or not. So to be cognizant of it and want to learn how to use it is just so right on time, I think.
Yeah, and the law of attraction isn't just when we think of law, well, at least me anyway, when I think of law of attraction, I think about attracting good things. But the problem is that when we think lousy things, we attract that too.
So did you ever pretend that you were sick when you were little because you didn't want to go to school? And then by the
Yeah.
end of the day, by the end of the day, you didn't feel well. So like that's like law of attraction. Or if you go to work and somebody says, "Are you okay? Do you feel all right? You don't look good," and you start thinking, "Oh, I don't look good. Maybe I don't feel good." You can create the energy of unwellness that way. And very often people, I'm a classic example, I was creating by default. I had some old thoughts that were very, very strong and very, very powerful. And I didn't know exactly what they were, but they kept recreating certain patterns in my life, certain relationships in my life that I'm like, there's no way I can be creating this because it certainly wasn't what I wanted, but I was. So we can create by default. Absolutely.
Yeah, and especially I think you just hit it right there, because especially when it comes to healing and wellness, and boy, Diana can testify to that one, because her health was failing, and she regained it all. And gosh, do you want to comment on that one, Diana? How you really
Uh,
recovered from the brink of whatever?
yes, I was suffering of several diseases, both physical and mental. When I mean mental, I mean that I was bulimic and depressed and agoraphobic. So I had a lot of disorders, and also in the physical level, everything was damaged, of course, because the manifestation of this in the physical level is very, very obvious. So I had pains of all of a kind, and I had a lot of diseases, and the allopathic doctor sent me to cut this and that from my body from time to time. But I didn't have time, fortunately. And yes, I started my researches about neuroscience. At that time, I was very fond of all the books of Dr. Joe Dispenza, and also all these documentary that you talk about. Also, what the bleep would do in now, and this one. So it was like the veil was removed from my eyes, and I started a long journey within myself, to speak like that. So, and then when I really searched in me what caused all this damage in my life and in my body, and I understood that it was there were a lot of mental programs that were running in my subconscious mind, and they were undermining my life and my power. So then I decided to take my power back and go forward, and I practice a lot of stuff. And then in the end, I don't know how and I don't know when, I was healthy and everything went well. So it was
Yeah,
really,
Wow.
you
yes.
changed you changed your thinking and start visualizing good things, and the mind, I guess, in lack for another better word, the mind healed the body.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yes. And I think there are a lot of people that, they cannot concentrate. If you tell them, look that or search that or read this book, they cannot concentrate. But I am very, very sure that only if you listen, you will connect to another frequency. So your frequency will be changed, and only through listening. When you do your household, when you iron, when you cook or whatever, you just can start an audiobook from Dr. Joe Dispenza or conference. Just by listening, you will raise your frequency and your energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting, Diana, that, for many of us, well, you know what, for just about everyone, unless you were raised in a family of, conscious creators, unless you were raised in a family like that, we all get to the point where we want to create something different, either because we really, really, really want something different, right? Or because we're in pain of some kind, whether it's physical or emotional or spiritual. Those uncomfortable feelings are the signal to ourselves that, hey, there's something more that you can create. Hey, there's a better way for you to feel, and what if I go to read this book? Wait, who is Joe Dispenza? Yeah, I don't know who he is, but yeah, I'll listen to him. And, it's little things like that begin to open up the path for us. And then we learn how to create the life, the health, the well-being, right, anything that we desire. So for you, right, it sounds to me, and I share with you, having an eating problem when I was younger, that was the stimulus for me. I woke up one day at the beach in a 2-piece bathing suit, and my cousin that I loved more than anything called me Goodyear. And I was like, what? Wait, what? And it was like I looked at myself for the first time, and I was more than 210 pounds. And that was a very painful awakening. But that was the pain, that was the stimulus that opened me up to the possibility. And I don't know where it came from, but I just had a feeling that if I could just get a vision of the way that I wanted my body to be, and if I could hold on to that vision, that I could attain it. I really, really believe that. And that's how it started for me. So for all of us, it starts differently. It could start with something big like cancer, or it could start with, a broken heart. It's just a matter of going, you know what? This feels really bad. What can I create that feels really, really good? And then you begin.
Yeah, and some people just suddenly show up in our life, and they become the catalyst to bring us onto a different path. Like you mentioned, Joe Dispenza. Who would not love to associate with him, to sit there and listen to him? And we can do that. We don't have to be in his presence. We can listen to him and associate with him by listening to his YouTube videos, reading his books, and just soaking it up. That is also a form of association, which can really change our lives.
Absolutely. But, just so, I love Joe Dispenza, and I'm sure a lot of people love him, but he wasn't the first person that I came upon. When I had that idea that, if I can just see my body not obese, if I can see my body the way I want it to be, I think I can make it happen. Then that opened the energetic pathway, and things started showing up in my life. And, eventually, I came across Think and Grow Rich. I came across Napoleon Hill. I came across some of the great thinkers, from way back in the 30s. And it just kept expanding for me until finally, for me, it was Abraham Hicks. I fell into their arms, a crumpled mess, like back in the 80s. And just, my life has been incredibly changed by it. And, one thing led to another thing. And then I came across Bob Doyle from The Secret, who is going to be on our Sunday show. He was a feature teacher in The Secret. He's amazing. And with him, that began my first certification in becoming a law of attraction coach, because he certifies law of attraction coaches. And he's an amazing law of attraction teacher, among other things. So, if the day that I looked down and saw that I was 210 pounds, I said, oh, I'm going to find law of attraction teachers. I didn't even know that existed. But my desire to be different, my desire to have a body that I liked was so great that it launched the message to the universe. Hey, universe, put me on the path. I'm telling you, I am passionate. I want something different. What do you got for me? And then, something showed up and something else showed up. And as I followed it, the path just naturally unfolded. And that's how it can work for all of us.
Yeah. And you mentioned Bob Doyle is going to be a guest on our show on Sunday. That is phenomenal to have someone like that with us. And I'm gonna be all ears through that one.
And you know what? Here's the thing that I love about Bob. He's super creative. He's incredibly talented. He's a musician. He does voiceovers. Of course, he's written books on the law of attraction. But he his thing is he wants to have fun. Like when I talk to him about doing the show, he's like, okay, let's just have fun. And that's part of creating what you like, because you think, well, I don't know how to create what I don't want, or I don't know if I have an old program running, but here's the way that you can tell. How do you feel? If you feel bad, you probably have an old program running. If you feel good, or if you are in the energy of having fun, then you are creating more of what you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Because those are the people that show up in our life that becomes that catalyst that brings us onto a different and better path.
Yeah, they bring us, I think personally, my view is we call them into our life. We call them into our life. You know, when I made the decision that I wanted more, that I'd been studying Abraham Hicks for a while, I don't even know how I got connected with Bob Doyle. It was just one of those intuitive things that a friend said, hey, I'm going to send you an email, check this out. And, you know, the next thing I know, it's years later, and I'm certified with Boundless Living, and I'm certified through Quantum Success Coaching Academy. And, you know, I never saw it coming, but when it came, I said, oh, yes, absolutely. I said yes to it. Yeah.
And I think that's because of another thing we're probably going to cover on the week after Bob Doyle, and that is vibration.
Well, we might talk about vibration with Bob Doyle, because, you know, everything is vibration, and try to do just an easy vibrational spiel for a minute. So everything is vibration. To use myself as an example, when I was called Goodyear, right, that day on the beach in a two-piece bathing suit, more than 200 pounds, my energy was not at a good vibration. I was vibrating the energy of an obese girl. I had all of the energetic habits of an obese girl, and that energy was a way different vibration than the body that I desired.
Yeah.
But when I said in my heart of hearts, if I could just get a vision of the way I want to be, connecting to that vision shifted my energy. Even though my body was still 200 pounds 200 pounds, and I was a certain size per square inch, when I got that vision of the way that I could be, it shifted my energy. And that vibration brought the next thing in for me, right? It brought the next teacher, it brought the next book, it brought the next pathway for me. And it's as easy as that for all of us. So if you're sick, if you just imagine how it would be to, I don't know, I mean, if you think about being well, and that's too big of a jump, so just think about how it would be to be out of bed for a half hour. How great would that feel? That's enough to shift your vibration so that you are headed in the direction of well-being. If you're flat broke and you think you're thinking about money, now this is where we create by default, because if we're really scared, right? If we're focused on the bills are piling up, and they're calling my phone, they're blowing my phone up with text messages. I got to pay the bills. I don't have the money. I don't have the money. So if we're in fear, we are actually further away from calling money to us. We are further away from the vibration of money. So it's not really possible to say, oh, I want to be a millionaire, but really have the vibration of fear, because you're looking at the bills, you're looking at the bill collectors, So what is the smallest thing that you can think that would make you feel better about money? Maybe it's, I had money before, and I've lost money before, and I've made money again, and I can make money again. Just that little thought shifts your vibration, and you start calling people, places, circumstances, right, energy for the new pathway for money to begin to take shape in your life. It can be that little. But if we are unaware, if we're saying, I want to be a millionaire, but really behind our face, we're petrified, then we're going to be creating from lack. And then we're going to create the continued absence of money. Did I explain that okay? Or
Oh, absolutely.
can I clarify that? Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, and why don't you maybe we've been talking about this before, and you have taught me some things, and could we touch on that a little bit, like the vision board? These are small technical details that you may want to do on the road to prosperity, and it kind of paves the road to that prosperity. Maybe you could mention some of that, because I got a vision board sitting right here, and I got stuff on it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if let's just stay with that example that you want money, but underneath everything you're really afraid because you're in deep, you have a lot of debt, you see the bills on your computer or on your phone or whatever. So if you just put the fear aside just for a few minutes and go and pull out some pictures out of a magazine or print them off of things that you really, really love, that's shifting your vibration. That's shifting your vibration out of where you were before, right? Feeling fearful and feeling lack. And it raises your vibration. And even though you're not thinking that, I want to be a millionaire, you're still connecting with the higher vibration. And then you are drawing to you the things that you desire in your life. So you can have anything that you love on your vision board. You can have that house, you can have the car, you can have the feeling of the relationship, you can have the feeling of money. And you notice I'm saying the feeling because just to say I want money and then have a picture of, thousands, hundreds, oops, I'm so sorry, I dropped the phone. Having a picture of hundreds of thousands of dollars on your vision board, if you don't feel it, then it's not going to raise your vibration. So if you're really kinked up about money, do something else, right? Put something else. Put baby pandas on there and puppies and a wallet, right? Just put a wallet on there. And then let your imagination just take you to the next level to where you can go, okay, I can start to see money in the wallet. So when we visualize it in our mind, that visualization is the information that we're putting out to the universe that, hey, this is what I want. And then when we're in the process of feeling good about it or feeling good on purpose about something else, then we're connecting with the energy. And then it starts moving toward you to take shape in your life. So you can imagine like how powerful a vision board would be, because you could just be going throughout your day and not really even notice that you're looking at it. You might not even register that you're looking at it, 30 times a day. And on the energetic level, that's making energy and connect with the manifestation, or you can kind of let it work subliminally.
Yeah, absolutely. And
right?
Even though we may not think that we see it, out of the corner of our eye, our subconscious mind is looking at it all the time. If it's close to where we are, let's say at a desk.
Right. And that's the best way for it to slip into reality for you, because it's in the subconscious mind that we have the limiting belief. It's in the subconscious mind where that program of lack and unworthiness and whatever else is playing out. But the more that your subconscious mind catches that out of the corner of your eye, the more your subconscious mind is going to replace that program of lack or fear with the images, right? With the feeling from the images that you're not even registering, but your subconscious mind is. Absolutely.
Yeah. This is something that, it in principle is so simple, but people don't think about it because they've never been taught these things. Schools don't teach us. The church doesn't teach it. It is only places like with you or Hicks or other people that comes out of the root of society, comes out of there and stand up, and they talk about it in private, but education, they shy away from these success principles, and that kind of bothers me.
Well, that's true, but as I look back on the things that my mother and my aunts, or the sayings that circulated through my family, and as I looked at them, I was like, oh, those are old wives' tales. But as I looked at them, I recognized that there was some really good law of attraction principles in there, right? So ignore them and they'll go away. That is a classic law of attraction principle. If you put your energy, if you put your focus on something that you don't want, it's going to keep coming back in your face. So if you were in school on the playground and you ignore the bully, it's going to work there too. So ignore them and they will go away. That is steeped in law of attraction, right? Or if you can't say anything good, don't say anything at all. That is probably one of the most powerful manifesting principles ever, because when you speak it, you're speaking it into creation. So even if it's just idle gossip, or you're like, oh, I never do this, or I feel that, or our words can create, and we can begin to shift our vibration that way as well, right? Instead of saying, oh, I never win anything, we can say, well, I could win something, maybe. So, we're not formally taught. I totally agree with you. But as I look back now, I can see like little traces of it. And certainly people who have practiced, right? People who are very, very successful, people who have created the life and the lifestyle and the livelihood and the health and the well-being, they know how to do it. But people, during this time of energy shifting and opening and, awakening, people want to harness that energy. People want to awaken those possibilities within them. So now, if we just ask and it is given, if we just ask, we're going to begin the process. So I agree with you. It's certainly not taught in school or, church or anything like that, but the time is perfect. If you have just even, a little twinge, right? A little butterfly in your gut that says, maybe that would work for me.
Yeah. And the thing also is that you were talking about, somebody may want to become a millionaire. If you think about the dollar bill or the money itself, then that is kind of not doing the job, because we don't really want the money. We just want what the money can do and what it can create by spending that money.
And
we need to keep our eye on what it can create.
Yes, and that's what goes on your vision board. Those are the things to think about, because if you're thinking about money going, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be a millionaire, but inside you're going, I'm broke, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. But if you just daydream, right, like, wow, what if all of my bills were paid? Wow, that would feel good. What if I had extra money and I did this? What if I had my own business and I could create amazing things for people, and not only create amazing things for people, but I could create this amazing workplace where people could come and it would be, light wood and the air would be clean and there would be an abundance of water and healthy food, and people would come and work and create and they'd get paid, and then their creativity and the things that they produce go out and help other people. So when you think about money like that money can do that for you, then you're going to become a millionaire.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see now that we are halfway through the show, so let's go ahead and take a break here. And we will be back in about 4 minutes or so after that we have paid some bills.
The LNM Radio Network has a subscriber chat room for you, the listener. Come interact with your fellow listeners and like-minded people and talk about the shows in a safe environment, from the paranormal to conspiracies and anything else LNM related. All you have to do is go to the LNMRadioNetwork.com website and click the official chat page button at the top of the homepage. From there, you can sign up for the cost of a cup of coffee. If you're a late-nighter subscriber, the chat room is absolutely free with your subscription. Terms and conditions apply. Then click connect and you'll be able to log into the chat room. We're here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and the chat room is both for Studio A and Studio B. We look forward to seeing you there.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com.
In evidence, we're bringing the weird every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern on the LNM Radio Network.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
How to know if you should reach out to a friend? Your friend might be
worried, sad,
grumpy, angry,
stressed, weird, rebellious,
anxious, antisocial,
lonely,
sleeping less,
sleeping more,
eating less,
eating more.
Look, there are a lot of things to watch out for, but you know your friend best. So if they're not acting themselves, why not say something? Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Won't you stay and play with me? I'm having a tea party. It's such a lovely day to have a tea party. I'm having a tea party. I'm having a tea party. Won't you stay and play with me?
Some knowledge belongs to us and us alone. The way our girlfriends walk, but knowing your breasts can save it. Go to knowyourgirls.org for the facts you need on breast health. That's knowyourgirls.org. Brought to you by Susan G. Coleman and the Ad Council.
LNM Radio Network, shining the light of truth 24 hours a day.
Hello, hello. We are back with the Universal Consciousness Show, and we are talking with NORI Love. We are talking about the more esoteric part of manifesting and creating good things in our life. And this is kind of an elusive animal here, because not too many people really understand how to reach into that universal mind and create good things out of seemingly nothing sometimes. But here is something that I want to mention that kind of almost acts as a paradox to what we've been talking about. I have been to 21 different countries, and I think that the German people, maybe them and the Swiss, they are the most analytical, rigid-minded people on earth that I've ever seen. And Diana live in Germany, though she come from Romania, which is a little more open probably. But what do you think, Diana? Is the German people just kind of like what I explained here, or what do you think?
I think that they are very, they are afraid to search in the deepness. So they will not go in the deepness. They will just stay on the surface and take care about their careers and about their bank accounts and cars and houses, and that's it. Because anytime when you try to talk with them a little bit deeper, then they will reject you. You will not be their friend anymore.
Yeah, I know that they were very rigid, and in fact, the Germans, they don't even know how to laugh at a good joke. That's my impression. I'm sorry, I'm not really bashing them here, but it's kind of funny. But what you see in Germany, that is different in Romania, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Yes, I don't live there anymore, but I always followed TV shows and the radio shows and all the documentary, and they are very, very open. But I think that is also because the Romanian people are suffering a lot. And when you suffer and when you reach your limits, then you start to think what is above the limit.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, the German people, they are doing well.
And that's why I'm thinking that possibly the United States of America might be one of the more advanced thinking countries also on Earth. What do you think about that, Nori?
Oh. Well, I'm not really good at making sweeping generalizations about people or countries, because just when we make a generalization like that, somebody's going to come and prove us wrong. So because the possibilities exist everywhere. I'm sure that there are a lot of German people who are manifesting their life and their dreams. They're just not talking about it. So I think that the capacity to think deeply is inherent in each of us. It's just a matter of what stimulates us to open up. Were we raised, to go there, or have we had life circumstances or situations that inspire us to think more deeply?
Yeah, that makes sense. But they probably manifest and create in a different area. A very wealthy man told me one time that the harder I work, the luckier I get. Mm-hmm. And I think the Germans are good at that. They're hardworking people, and that also can create. It creates in a different way than reaching into the universe and creating. So, yeah, I think it probably worked both ways.
Yeah, and I love that you're saying this, because it's actually all working the same way. It's just we're packaging it in different words, because it's a belief.
It's the belief. That's what it's the underlying belief. So whether we say, oh, I believe that if I work hard, I'm going to be a millionaire. Well, great. Then, if you believe it enough and if you focus on it and your vibration is in alignment with that, absolutely, it's going to happen. If you use the words manifestation and frequency and quantum realms, but you really, really believe it, then that's going to work for you too. It's always working. It's always working, no matter how we are observing it in other people.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. We're all creating at different levels and in different arenas.
We are, but some of the things, no matter what country you're in, are absolutely standard across the board, right? One is you have to have a desire to want something different. And then you have to decide what it is that you want and get very clear on what it is that you want. And then you have to focus on it. Just saying I want $1 million or just saying I want a red car or impeccable health isn't enough. And this is kind of where The Secret got faulted, because it looked like you were supposed to launch an intention and then just sit in your living room and wait for it to drop in, but that's not true, because part of manifestation is taking inspired action, not going off half-cocked, running around trying to make things happen, but to go, okay, wait, what is this book that she just told me about? What's that email I just got? Or you wake up in the morning and you have a feeling that you should go to the bookstore. You're like, I don't know why I should go to the bookstore, but you follow it and you happen to meet somebody there and you have a conversation and that leads you to something else. So inspired action is a huge part of manifesting, whether you talk about it in terms of woo-woo or whether you talk about it in terms of quantum mechanics. And, focus is really important. So the vision board, right, you're focusing on it and you don't even know you're focusing on it when you have the vision board. And when you get so good at playing in the daydream in your mind, when you get so good at doing that, then you're focusing on it more and more. Initially, it's usually very mechanical, like you wake up in the morning and you write your intention. You write about what you want. You can write about how it feels to have what you want. That's the kind of focus. It seems really simple, but if you do that every day, I mean, that's what I did, and that's how I ended up, going from 210 pounds to being a competitive bodybuilder. I mean, when I was, an obese girl, I had no idea that path was going to unfold for me, but I followed the energy and I took inspired action. So some of the things are standard across the board. Know what you want, get clear on it, go into the feeling place of it, focus on it, write about it, talk about it. Like when I hang out with my girlfriends who are into this, we play the what if game. If we're on a long drive, we're like, what if this happened? And then we describe what it is. It's in that kind of fun and lightness that you're actually creating.
Yeah, you mentioned that what if before. That is really powerful, because that awakens the subconscious understanding, feeling, and smells and visions and everything that creates within your presence and the future.
Exactly. And let's pretend it doesn't really work. Okay, that everything we're talking about doesn't really work. But if playing the what if game took you out of pain because you don't feel well, took you out of despair because a relationship broke up, took you out of despair because you're focusing too much on what's going on in the world, if playing the what if game made you feel better for a little while, isn't it worth doing it?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
It only takes 17 seconds of focusing your attention to shift your vibration. And this is classic Abraham Hicks. This is classic Abraham Hicks. Abraham Hicks is Jerry and Esther Hicks. Jerry is now non-physical, but Esther channels a group of non-physical entities called Abraham. And the 17-second process is their classic process, that if you set your timer for 17 seconds and you think about something really good or something really pleasant or something that feels good or something that makes you happy, you have shifted your vibration. It can be that simple. The trick is, the key is to string those 17 seconds together throughout the day, because I would get up in the morning and, be all ready to manifest my day. Then I'd go to work, like in corporate America, and by 11 o'clock, I don't know where I would go, but 3 o'clock, I would emerge back at my desk feeling really bad, because I got caught up in the drama. I got caught up in, energy, nervous emotions, trying to solve things. So instead of staying focused, right, or instead of staying in the good feeling place, I would get lost. So life would pull me back in. So I would practice, and then I would get lost for a lesser amount of time. Like I'd show back up, in my consciousness at 2 o'clock, and then 1 o'clock, and then noon. And then I was staying present the whole day. I was staying in the good feeling, manifesting energy of just having good thoughts, just feeling good the whole day. So it's a practice, and that's why it calls for our focus.
Yeah, you mentioned something here also about planning. When you get up in the morning, people should plan their day. If they know something is going to happen, like a meeting or something that day, try to visualize the outcome of the meeting in your favor. And planning the day probably is a lot more important than we should think it is. I know also a lot of people spend more time planning a vacation than they do planning their life. Maybe we should do a little more planning.
Well, and planning is great. And Abraham Hicks calls it pre-paving. You can pre-pave your day. So maybe you're in the habit of waking up in the morning and, you go on autopilot. So maybe you forget to plan your day. But you can pre-pave the way you want it to go. I do not pick up my phone. I do not take a telephone call now without taking a minute, just taking a second and go, I want this to go in peace and ease. When I get in my car, I want this to be uneventful and pleasant. When I go to the store, I'm going to find everything I want and maybe even some more things that surprise me. So little tiny planning like that actually shifts the energy. And if you do that throughout your day, it's going to take shape, over a week, over a month, into your life, and all of a sudden your life is going to be transformed into that which was your original intention. And you, like John Assaraf, who's the big neuroscience guy, he had his house, he had his mansion on his first vision board. And this was, I don't know him, this was YouTube I saw, but he unpacked a bunch of boxes years later. And, his sons were there with him. His little boys were there. And he started to cry. And the little boys said, Daddy, why are you crying? And he looked at them and he said, this is the house that I had on my vision board all those years ago. And it really can happen like that. It just takes being conscious and choosing for it. Just choose to start.
Yeah. And that same wealthy man told me, forget about the past because you're not going there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so if we focus on the past, what are we doing? We're recreating, we're pulling that energy, right? We're pulling that energy from the past into our now. And that's blocking the energy of all of the amazing things that we want. And that's how the programs run underneath the surface. And yeah.
Absolutely. And that goes back to planning. There are different forms of planning, I guess. Planning with just words is not as powerful as if you add emotion and feeling and wonderful, vivid, colorful pictures with it. That's the kind of planning we need to do, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. But I wouldn't want that lofty, final skill to dissuade people from starting, because you can start. I mean, I started with an intention, and it may have been like, I am peaceful. I am peaceful. That may have been my very first intention. So that lets you know how my life was going back then. So it started out with just writing those words over and over again. And then suddenly I could feel it. And then after a while of writing them and just being with them, suddenly I could see it. And it can just begin to open, like a beautiful rose, like a lotus petal. So the most important thing is to just be easy about it all, right? Not beat yourself up. Like I would go into work all intentioned up, and I was going to have a great day. And from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock, I was on the spin cycle. Right. So if I spent time beating myself up, then I would stay on the spin cycle longer. So, if you realize you've fallen off the good feeling train, you just get back on. Back on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only way to do it, because you don't fall off only once. You'll fall off a whole bunch of times during the day and the month and the years. We'll fall off ever so often, and all we have to do is to get back on again.
Right. The cool thing is, when you fall off, you're always starting from a higher level. You never go backwards. Yeah. So there's some magic in falling off and getting back up. Absolutely.
Yeah, because the falling off part, that realized that, that didn't feel good. Falling down, that felt lousy. I hurt myself, so I'm not going to do that again. And you go back with that attitude, and then you get back on the train again. Well, you'll probably fall off again, but then you remember again that, no, that's right, it didn't feel good, so I'm bitten back on.
I like that. Remember. So a lot of people are arguing with each other about politics right now. And after you have a heated discussion with somebody and, your face is all red and your neck is tight, you go, God, I don't want to do that again. So you can make the intention that I want to have comfortable conversations. But you may go somewhere, like go out to dinner tonight, and somebody's going to trigger you with a political conversation, and you're halfway into the argument and you go, oh my gosh, I forgot. I didn't want to do this. Well, you know what? You don't have to do it. That's great. You caught it. You can stop right there. And then the next time when somebody triggers you, you go, huh, you almost go into it, but then you go, no, I remember this. I am remembering. This is not where I want to go. And then you choose to go, to the dessert tray or something better, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I like the dessert tray.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about it is that we all do that. I don't know about all of them, but I get sucked into political things. It's easy to get sucked in, but when I'm in it, I realize that, no, I don't want to be here. But I'm already here. I gotta say something to exit. And then I remember this saying that, never argue with an idiot, because after the first exchange of words, it's hard to determine which one is the idiot. And political discussions, when they become heated, that is idiocy.
Yeah.
When and about the left and the right, there's no such thing. There is only freedom and slavery. That's right. The only two sides there is, and everything in between's got labels on it that really doesn't mean a lot.
Okay, but what if that energy that you are arguing with was gold coins? What if it was gold coins? You're taking this big pile of gold coins and you're putting it into a conversation that makes you feel terrible when you're done. Yeah. What if you can take those gold coins and put them toward your health, your well-being, your relationship, your bank account, right? Anything else that feels better, because it is, your thoughts are currency. How are you going to spend them?
Yeah, absolutely. I see now we got about 3 minutes or possibly 4 minutes left of the show. Could you talk maybe to people a little bit about someone that hasn't done a lot of planning, or they like to but they haven't and don't really know how would they start this out? How would you start it out if you were them?
Oh boy. Well, I would start out by throwing caution to the wind and with unabandoned creativity, and you can rip it up, you can rip the paper up, write down all of the crazy things that you want. Write down all of the ways that you want to feel and this amazing livelihood, lifestyle that you want. And then you can rip it up, right? Because you don't want anybody to see it. They'll think you're crazy. But that would be a place to start, because then that picture of what you want is in your mind. And when it's in your mind, if you wake up in the morning, think about that. Think about all of those things that you want. And then you can just begin, right? Because it's hard to even remember to begin. But if you remember to begin, be in bed and go, you know what? Today is going to be amazing. Today is going to unfold in peace and ease and joy. And then get up and do your day. Or you can have a reminder, like every time you go through a doorway, because we go through doorways all day long, right? Every time you go through a doorway, say what you want to happen after you go through that doorway. Like you're going through the doorway to work. Okay, between now and 5 o'clock, I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to have great conversations. I'm going to have a good lunch. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to be relaxed, and then go through that door. And then when you're going through the door to go home, right, I'm going to have a great drive to the gym. I'm going to have a great workout. Then I'm going to meet Bay, and we're going to have dinner. And right, so it just have fun with yourself. But begin. Just remember to begin. I think that's the most important part. And sometimes it seems complicated, and that's why I became a coach. I have always had a coach, and I still have a coach, and I will always have a coach, because you never get it done. So
yeah, and that's where you also need to tell people where they can get a hold of you, because there are somebody out there that needs to talk to you, and not just about coaching this, but you also hypnotic therapist. So
I am a hypnotherapist, yes, and people can go to my website. It's Everything Conscious, all one word, everythingconscious.com. And there are, it's a new website, so there's not that much there, but you can certainly get in touch with me there. I have Facebook pages, Hypnotherapy with Love, Coaching with Love. Of course, come to our Broadcast Team Alpha page on Facebook and go to our website, broadcastteamalpha.com. Join our YouTube channel, and you get to listen to all of the amazing, inspirational, and remarkable interviews that we do. Aage and myself and Tom Schaefer, and just connect with us. Absolutely.
That'll be the way to do it. And we love to hear from you guys out there. This is so much fun when we get feedback and we get to hear from people out there, because it kind of gives us the shot in the arm saying that, yes, we'll continue this.
Absolutely. And be on the lookout, connect with us. If you connect with us on the Broadcast Team Alpha page or on the Everything Conscious page, Aage and I are starting a mastermind class, a mastermind group. I'm not going to say it's a class because we're all each other's teacher, but we're starting a mastermind group. And if you want to learn the basics of manifestation or law of attraction, they will be woven into that as well.
So get in touch with us. Go to the Broadcast Team Alpha website. That's broadcastteamalpha.com, and go to the contact page and send us your email and name, and we will get in touch. So we hope to hear from you.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well,
thank
you very much, Nori, for coming on such short notice here. It was wonderful.
It's always wonderful talking with Diana and you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Okay, then. So next week we will be here again with something really interesting. So we'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.